Good morning. I'm going to do kind of a tour today, but it's also going to be kind of a just talk because there are lots of areas that I'm thinking about and I'm trying to make decisions on. So, in this mailbox garden, I'm so anxious to clean out all of the annuals and just see what I'm left with. I think in a lot of areas, I really have enough perennials, and so I just need to get the annuals out and kind of just give these perennials and bushes a year to do their thing. Now, I always say that at this time of year because I'm just anxious to get everything cleaned out, but then, come spring, I'm anxious to do all the annuals. So we'll see what happens. But in this area, I have lots of dahlias still looking pretty nice. I just wish they weren't so floppy, and even if I stake them, they still are floppy. Like you can see this one was staked and it just bent over and broke where it was being tied up. So anyway, this area is mostly dahlias right now. So yeah, I'm really anxious to just clean everything out. It's kind of like Christmas time. I have a lot of Christmas decor and it's fun to put it all up. But then when Christmas is over, you're just as excited to put it all away and have a blank slate for a little bit. That's kind of how I am in the house. And so I'm kind of excited to have a blank slate for a little bit. So that's the mailbox garden. Let's back up so you can see it a little bit better. Over here, this one little spot has way too much going on as far as ground covers. We've got 2 catmint, the sedum, the golden oregano, and the spirea. So a lot, probably too much going on there. This is just a time for me to be thinking about what comes next. I know I've kind of discussed that I'm putting in some trees. So I have the hornbeam, the blue point juniper, and the kindred spirit oak, and then this magnolia tree. So I call it the sun border, and I do realize that it may not be the sun border if I keep planting trees, but I'm totally okay with that because I actually love shade, and my back garden is all shade, and it's fun to have things for the sun, but I don't like this will never be as shady because none of these trees are going to get really wide, but I'm okay with having a little more shade than I have to. This is one area that, even though this gomphrena looks great, I'm excited to get it out and just kind of see what I'm left with. That's also an annual, the salvia here. I do have that evergreen. Unfortunately, disease has been a big problem this year. That has, I think, powdery mildew. That's bee balm. So I did end up moving all of the Martagon lilies, the Black Beauty Martagon lilies, over there to that side. So yeah, in the next few days, I'm going to be cleaning out annuals, cutting down perennials, because I'm just so anxious for that to happen. But the dahlias look great. These are the lilac time dahlias, and I've kind of got them just here and there throughout the garden. This is my bee balm, and you can kind of expect that bee balm will get powdery mildew, but this particular bee balm did not get powdery mildew last year. It's been here for a couple of years. This year's been a bad year for disease. One thing I really want to do, and it was a goal for this year and I didn't get it done, is get some drip so that I'm not having to water with sprinklers so often. I can't hand water the stuff with the hose. There's just too much of it. Honestly, I'm not even sure what this disease is. I don't know if it's powdery mildew or if it's something else. That's my echinacea. But a real goal for me next year, even if it's just in one area, is to get some drip. Like maybe I start with the vegetable garden one year and then the next year I can add something else. I just need to start because I think once I do, it won't be as overwhelming as I think it is, hopefully. But I mean, it was on my list for this year. And then what happens is in spring, everything looks great and you think you don't need it. And so I do need it. And so that is a goal for next year. Oh, this is the bear's breeches looking wonderful. So glad that transitioned well into the garden. It is sort of marginal in this area and I did plant it in fall. So I am going to give it a really good mulch. These pentas, I think I'm going to do the pentas in right here next year. So this is golden oregano. It didn't get enough sun this year. Right over me is a red bud. And so I think I'm going to move that golden oregano somewhere where it will get more sun. And I have two things I am considering doing in this area. One is the pentas, if I want to go with an annual. The other option is that kaleidoscope abelia that is in my backside garden. And since I have to remove all that stuff anyway, I'm thinking of where I could maybe put some things. And so having those 3 kaleidoscope abelia here could be good. In general, I'm wanting to do more shrubs, more things that, aren't going to be so high maintenance. But, it just depends on when you ask me, because in spring, when I'm anxious to start gardening again, then I think I can do all of the annuals. But those are the two things I'm considering doing there. This dahlia, I'm pretty anxious to take that out. It flops really bad, so I think I'll just toss that whole thing because I just don't even think it's worth saving. Even though the blooms are pretty, it's just really floppy. Let's see. And I don't know the name of this one. The gomphrena that I put in here didn't do as well. And then that one over there did kind of middling. This gomphrena on this side did really well. So it's really happy over here. I think I have, I'm not sure how many plants, maybe 3, maybe more. I'll see when I take them out. I don't know if I'm even going to go in here. There's not a lot going on. Not much has changed. Got the morning glories and the tomatoes, green beans. That area I cleaned out, only keeping the peppers, but I got cleaned out the zinnias and the tomatoes, and I also cut down the asparagus, which the asparagus started growing back already. Made me realize I can kind of cut that down anytime and it will probably be fine. So that left this area blank, but then I ended up temporarily moving this sand cherry here because I just didn't have a place to put it. Basically over in this mailbox garden, I ended up putting a purple smoke bush there. That's where the sand cherry had been, and I decided I would rather have the purple smoke bush. So I temporarily moved this purple smoke bush here. And then I also stuck some salvia that I got from a landscaping job in there just to see what it does. It's the azure salvia. We'll see. This area's been simple ever since I cleaned out early on, maybe in June or July. I cleaned out a bunch of plants. So behind the ground cover sedum, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do daffodils or tulips. I just got a bunch of free daffodils, so I might put them in there, or I might do the tulips. I'm not sure. But not a lot going on in the potager otherwise. To the right, I have decided I'm going to remove all of the strawberries, or if I do leave them there, I'm just leaving them there for a ground cover with these Asiatic lilies. So I've started moving basically all of the Asiatic lilies. I put a bunch of Asiatic lily bulbs in there because the rabbits eat them pretty bad. So, and why am I getting rid of the strawberries? The strawberries get eaten by roly-polies really bad. It's just, I basically don't really get strawberries. So I'm like, I think I'd rather just grow some flowers. So many pretty dahlias. I moved this ajuga. My friend gave it to me and I planted it here. I took a video and now I can't even remember if I showed that video. I've been recording everything I do, but I don't have time to edit it all, you guys. I would be editing 40 hours a week and I do have other responsibilities in my life. So I'm not sure if I showed this or not, but I did add that ajuga in and it's doing really well. I went all the way over to here. Also moved some ladies' mantle over here. Somebody said something about the ajuga going crazy, getting into the grass, or maybe that was the creeping Jenny. Maybe it was ajuga. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of trouble with the ajuga, so I'm not too worried about that. And I would be totally fine with this path getting a little more narrow. Maybe not a lot. Right now it's probably 7 or 8 feet wide. So it could stand to get a little more narrow. This sedum looks really good for the whole year until right now. It usually looks pretty terrible at this time of year. And I just cut it down when I'm sick of it. But I thought that the ajuga, that those two colors together might look okay. Anyway, that's what's up here. More disease on these dahlias. Ugh. And this is probably my fault for trimming flowers. Probably I trimmed the zinnias and then I came over here and trimmed the dahlias and I thought my dahlias have never gotten powdery mildew. Well, now I've managed to give it to them. Okay, so let's see. The sun border. What else did I have to say about this? And just see how things look. There's the blue star juniper. This is one red coleus. Let's back up here. Might cut that goldenrod down pretty quick. It's definitely not bringing me joy anymore. There's a blue star juniper, some daisies, and a spirea. You can see here, this is what happens to my dahlias. And, oh, those are so pretty. I should bring those in. I'll try to remember and come back for them. This was Coreopsis. I don't remember it doing that before, so I'm not sure if it died or what, but again, just another thing to be cut down. And I just haven't had the time to come cut this stuff down. This area, I'm really hoping that we get some decent fall color. If we do, I'll do another little tour. The red buds all turn yellow, and then of course the Japanese maples would all look nice. So I might be back with another little tour of that at some point. But here we have the ruby slippers oak leaf, the Empress Wu hosta, my boxwoods, and then this Japanese maple. Sadly, the Japanese maple really wants to lean to one side, I guess toward the sun, although this is the north side, but then it's kind of leaning away from this tree. So I don't know. It looks good from the front. It doesn't bother me too incredibly much. We did redo some grass seed. So we normally have our Adirondack chairs here, and I think it kind of drives my husband crazy that it kills the grass. But so those are hanging out by the front porch right now while we try to get a little bit of grass growing here. What is going on up here? I did make a video of it, and then that project was kind of a fail, so I never posted that video. But here's what happened, actually. So these were Annabelle hydrangeas, which I dug out because they were really floppy. They kind of take over the whole sidewalk every year. So I decided to replace them with the Flowerfull hydrangeas. And this is what happened. I bought them on clearance and they just declined pretty quickly. So now I have bought some brand new, beautiful looking ones. I was able to get some money back for these, and I had some store reward points or whatever. So I didn't get a bad deal. I didn't lose a lot of money on buying these new ones. This is the Flowerfull hydrangea. So I am excited to try that, and hopefully they'll do better. My main reason for getting rid of the Annabelles was that they come out to about here. They flop over onto the sidewalk, and then this sedum comes out, and you're left with about 6 inches of sidewalk. So I'm hoping that these Flowerfull ones will be a little bit better behaved. Unfortunately, this ground cover sedum got some kind of disease this year, which I don't think that's ever happened. So this area, it is a challenge. So let me explain what the challenge is. This is the north side of my house. And so right now, this gets no sun. It's completely shaded all day by the house. In the middle of the summer, it is full sun, 100% sun all day long. So that really makes for a challenge because this sedum's really happy in the summer, but right now we've been running the sprinkler for the grass several times a day for the grass seed, and now the sedum is really unhappy. Another thing that didn't really appreciate that much sprinkler was the adratum. It really flopped over. So this is one of the areas that I wanted to talk about. The coleus looks great. Earlier in the season, I had several other annuals in here. I think almost all the annuals are done except for the coleus. Well, they do have that cardinal basil, but there's probably enough. Again, this is one of those areas where there's enough perennials that I probably don't even need that many annuals, but I kind of go crazy in the spring. So let's look at what perennials we have. And I really want to assess this area and see what I should do. So I have daisies and iris, Siberian iris back there, spirea. This tree is a crabapple tree. And then we have that ground cover sedum. And then over here, I do have, this is a perennial. This is the foxglove beard tongue native, which blooms in May. More of the Siberian iris. Here I have a tall sedum, but again, it's not getting any sun right now. So I used to have a bunch of this. I think I had like 5 or 6, and I've taken almost all of them out. More daisies. Those have got to come out because those shaded half of this Hydrangeas. This Hydrangeas was new last fall, and it's gotten pretty big. Like, it was tiny last fall. It's gotten really big. So I just need to give it the space to be more full and round. And then we have a little more of the tall sedum down there. So it's one of those things, if I can just like show some self-control and not plant these big annuals next year, then I might have a nice looking perennial area. I wouldn't mind changing some things around in here, but I'm just not sure what I want to do. I kind of went crazy this year with this red coleus, and it doesn't look bad, but I think it would look better if I kind of contained it to one spot and didn't have it be randomly placed all over this bed. I'm just going to jump in here. It's the next morning, and I just took the morning to clean all of the annuals out, and I got rid of quite a few of the perennials too. So, well, I got rid of a couple. This was that wild adratum, which I do really like that plant. I still have it in other places. I just am not sure that this was the best place for it. And that's what happened to the grass, is it flopped over. And as I mentioned, this area's shade in the spring and fall and winter. So it's only sun in the summer. So I just didn't feel like that was the best place for that. Now you can kind of see what I have left. I did leave the pentas just to have something, but there's also grape hyacinths in here, and then 3 of those foxglove beard tongue. These are those Siberian iris, and I did take out the daisies and all of the tall sedum. So some people are going to say that this looks way worse now, but I found it to be very satisfying. I'm loving how clean and simple it looks. I did go ahead and trim back that Hydrangeas. I completely know that I'm losing blooms because it blooms on old wood, but I'd like it to be, you can see it's literally just half the plant. I'd love it to fill in, and I actually am growing this as much for the foliage as I am for the flowers, so I'm totally okay with it not blooming well next year. I'd be surprised if it doesn't get any blooms, because I just planted it last fall and it was teeny tiny, and I actually got a decent amount of blooms. So that's what's going on with that. I have left the Siberian iris, all of them. So here's what I'm thinking, and then this is that spirea. That spirea will get really big now that it has space. But I'm thinking right here, it's not very exciting and colorful, but I'm thinking of doing some boxwoods. My first thought when I thought, what do I want to put here, was, what do I have in my side garden that I could move here? And I have 4 or 5 boxwoods, kind of different sizes. So doing like a little trio here of like 3 different sizes, I thought might look kind of cute. Bear with me as I do a quick Photoshop job here. I decided that I wanted you guys to be able to picture what these 3 boxwoods from my side yard would look like. So I know I have a small one, a larger one, and then the one I've been trying to topiary. Of course, it doesn't look anything as good as this does yet. Then also adding a little bit of annuals on either side, and voila, that's what I'm picturing in my head. Ready for winter, and I can think and plan Here we are on the left side of my house and driveway, and you can see that this adratum looks a lot better. This area hasn't been getting any sprinkler, so it's still standing up decently well and looking pretty good. I did not deadhead or anything for this tour, but another really pretty dahlia. This lilac is so confused. It lost all of its leaves. Well, the leaves were really diseased looking. It lost about half of them, and I helped it along with the other half. And then it decided it would throw out a couple of new leaves and a couple of blooms. So I've actually considered getting rid of this lilac, even though it's got such pretty blooms, but it's not in a great place. And of course, now this whole area will be dug up. So, and its leaves do get a little bit diseased in the fall. So I have to decide if I'm going to keep that or not. And I was actually going to dig it up this fall and either move it or get rid of it. Then when I realized that this whole area is going to be dug up, I just decided I'd leave it for now and just kind of see what happens. The sea green juniper. So I don't have any plans for changing anything in here because it's all going to be changed. It's all going to be dug up and need to be redone. I'm starting to think about what would I change since I have to start fresh, start completely over. What would I change? And thinking about going with something more drought tolerant than these arborvitaes. So I don't know, maybe just a little more of a mixed instead of a straight hedge. But I mean, I love the hedge, but I don't know. I'm starting to think about that. Here are the black-eyed Susans. Of course, everything's starting to be covered in leaves. Black-eyed Susan vine, I should say. Oh, almost ran into a spider. We'll go around this way. This is full of leaves, but looking pretty good. This also, again, this is the north side. So it was getting sun. Now it's getting a lot of shade. I'm going to be bringing that. I think I'm just going to bring the whole container in and hope for the best there. The mums are looking okay. I've been doing it. I'm not really going to go over this much, but I've got the witch hazel, coleus, little Henry sweetspire, macrophylla hydrangea. Oh, if I can get over there. Sorry, there's just spider webs everywhere. Let's see if we can get through here. I did that little container, which I'm liking. Little container. So this is just a consistent area. I mean, it still looks great. These are pretty large. These are up to my waist. These big red begonias. A little bit of morning glories still there. The big root geranium and this boxwood. I'm really hoping I can keep that boxwood since I've been trying to topiary it for a little bit. Everything that I moved in that that one video, the Tough Stuff Hydrangea, the Thalictrum. I mean, everything looks pretty good. So didn't skip a beat, that hydrangea. Unfortunately, it is now going to have to be moved again when they do the work in my yard. This I put in July, I think, was given to me, the lamium. I haven't had luck with it, but I've always tried to plant it in the shade. So I wanted to put it in a sunnier area here, and it's doing pretty well. I hope that I can get some color on this columnar Japanese maple this year. It's been pretty dry, but I have tried to water those a bit. These are from when it bloomed back in June. And then here we have some fresh blooms and berries. This is the St. John's wort sangria. I really love this bush. I'm 100% going to try to save that. I'm going to try to save everything. People kept commenting, you should try to save it. Oh, I definitely will. I will try to save every single thing that I can. There are just some things that probably it will not be successful, but I certainly will try to save what I can. I'm way too much of a plant mom to not try. I just put this ajuga and creeping Jenny in here. I don't think I mentioned in that video that this is balloon flower, which I'm not sold on balloon flower. I've got it kind of in a couple different places throughout my garden. Maybe I just keep thinking maybe I need to give it some time to come into its own, but so far I'm not impressed. The grass is coming in well here. It was looking pretty terrible. And yes, there are weeds. You know, we don't really spray. I do try to hand pull, but we're gonna have weeds. That's just, if you don't spray, that's part of the deal. So yeah, I know I will want to have another Alice Oakleaf hydrangea because I love that plant. But otherwise, I just don't know what this area will look like in the future. This water's looking yucky. They're doing some construction on a pond that drains into here. And so I think that's why we got some yuckiness in our pond. We really need some rain to wash that away. We are starting to get a little bit of fall color here on that red bud. And I can't even say if that's fall color or if that's dried out on that Solomon seal. It's been dry. It's been really dry, except for what I've done on the sprinkler. I know I've kind of talked about these begonias, but I'm a big fan of those and hope that they come back next year. Those are the hardy begonias. These ferns, Japanese painted ferns, not looking their best, but not looking terrible. I do really love that summer moon Japanese maple. This white birch is a real highlight as winter comes on. I love the way that the trunks look in the snow and in the winter. I just have, these are the peppermint heuchera. I guess you more call them coral bells when they you're growing them more for their red flowers. But these didn't fare well this last winter. I really think they heaved. So my goal is to do a better job mulching them this year. And then the ground cover in the rest of this area is Creeping Jenny. I have 3 hellebores here and 3 boxwoods. Lots of ground cover in this area. The variegated vinca, some of the vinca minor, Creeping Jenny. This boxwood needs to be trimmed. I must have missed it when I trimmed all the others. This is my bloodgood Japanese maple. What it takes for these to have good fall color is water and cool temperatures without freezing. So we have not had water, but I have tried to give them a good water a couple of times. And I mean, luckily we haven't had a freeze yet, but it's been in the upper 80s the last few days. So yeah, it's not cooling off gently like I would like it to. We do have some cooler temperatures coming soon and no freeze yet, so I haven't completely given up hope yet. But yeah, we've been in the upper 80s the last 2 days in a row. And speaking of the upper 80s, I just was learning about the heat zones. You know, we all know about the cold hardiness zones. And I was looking, I know that there is a heat zone map, and I just know like we're really hot, and I wasn't too concerned about it. But I did look at it the other day, and it was kind of interesting how they measure it. So our area, what they measure is how many days a year you're above 86 degrees. We are above 86 degrees for 60 to 90 days a year. Just to compare that to, I decided I'd compare it to Pennsylvania, which is also a zone 6. I mean, obviously there are different areas of Pennsylvania, but a good portion of Pennsylvania has 14 to 30 days over 86 degrees a year. So you can see there's a big difference, and we deal with a lot more heat. I think that's why the little tips of these are burned, because I just can't always quite stay on top of that heat and watering. But I just thought that was interesting, the difference in the heat, even though we're in the same cold hardiness zone. I think I lost the Indian pink, sadly. But everything else looks pretty good. Loving the mirror that we hung up. A lot of my hostas aren't looking great. This one's hanging in there decently well. Some of them are just almost gone, like vanished, and they'll be back next year. These ones don't look too bad. The ajuga looks pretty nice right here. Then the Brunnera. I'm excited to see these Japanese maples if they get any color. Annabelle hydrangea, lace, what's that? Invincible lace. That's 1 year old. Looked pretty bad all last year. Didn't look great when I bought it. Didn't look great all year. This year, I feel like that did pretty well for how terrible it looked last year and really not being in a great place. So I'm excited to see that in the future. Here's the current state of that hornbeam. I haven't given up on it yet. The box honeysuckle. Right next to the corner of the deck there, that Sun King Aurelia. I think it's going to make it. I know. I really tried to torture it and tried to kill it as much as I could, but not really. I didn't want to kill it, but I did put it through the ringer. When I was watching the video where I was talking about that begonia, and I saw the video and I was like, oh, those chairs look terrible. I know they do. They got damaged when my neighbor cut down their tree. Some of the branches fell and broke them a little bit. So we will do something else with those next year. Oh, I'm embarrassed to admit this. Look how terrible this limelight looks. It has green on it, you guys, so I don't think it's completely dead. But oof, I feel bad because that's the neighbor's yard that I planted that in. But I think it'll be okay if we can just get through the fall. And I think it'll be okay in the spring. I just kind of wanted to show what it looked like in October. If it doesn't look too shabby at this time of year, then I'm happy. I'm actually really thankful for the winter because, yeah, we get this clean slate and everything comes back looking really beautiful. Like this tree, for example, I know it's going to look wonderful in the spring. Just, I am ready for that. Up here, I've got stuff that I'm going to bring in. All this is ready to bring in when I need to. I do need to figure out something with these 2 Japanese maples. I'm not sure what that got broken maybe. I think that animals have been, like, I know the squirrels dig in this a lot, but I didn't realize till right now that a big piece was broken off. But this one looks wonderful. I mean, I can't believe how much growth. I think it's grown from about here. This is all new this year. So that's great because it's going to be a good grower for me, right? I love that. I need to get that in the ground pretty soon. Get it covered from the rabbits. I'll bring this one in soon. I don't think I have any other containers kind of out in the landscape. I think I've got everything on the deck that I will want to bring in. I had a project I wanted to do here where I carried this bed through over to here and then I wanted to put the grill down lower, but now I hurt my shoulder, you guys. Life has been difficult lately. I have a torn rotator cuff and it's from tearing out that limelight. I don't know my limits and I pushed myself too far. So the doctor said, try to rest it. Don't do any heavy gardening or heavy lifting for 2 weeks. See if it can maybe is a small tear and will heal on its own. If it's not feeling any better in 2 weeks, then I'm going to get an MRI and see how bad it is. And hopefully I don't need surgery. But you guys, I'm a mess when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm always hurting myself. Those impatiens. There actually is a geranium in there. I keep forgetting. I could save that too in the house. So that is the back garden. Thanks for joining me on this tour. I hope that it was helpful. If we get some good fall color, then I will definitely share that. Bye for now.